Everything was pointing me to go say, hey, go do it yourself. Go find your own way in this. I had to get told no 20 plus times from almost every bank imaginable in Texas before I ever found any yeses. When it comes to even outside businesses, I mean, almost every business is not a one-time buy. I don't know any car dealership that says, hey, just buy this one car from us and we'll never see you again. Highly recommend don't be offended by no. Try to get as many no's as possible so you can find the yeses.
Welcome to the Biz Life Podcast. I'm Donnie Bador, your host, and we are here to talk about the business life, not the busy life. So I have in studio Nick Pahanish from Texas Black Belt Academy. He was on maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago on the whenever we were in Nashville.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, welcome back.
Well, thanks for having me back. Great to be here.
And for those listening and watching, thank you so much for being a part of this. We have some great content for you today. So don't check out, be a part of this. You're going to really love it. Please like, share, subscribe, all those things. It really helps the network grow. And let's get rolling. So for those, some people may be watching for the very first time and they didn't watch the episode a couple, 2, 3 weeks ago. So just real quick, give us a little history about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Nick Pahanish. I've been in the business world since, as long as I could be, I guess. We started our first business at 21 and, just been hauling away ever since on that. Out in Nashville when we did our last episode, and if you didn't get to see that one, make sure you go back and check that one out. It'll definitely help you on the promotional side of things. We got to talk about some of the promotional products on that and how we use those. So,
Yeah. Married to Shelly Pahanish.
Yep. Happily married now for 12 years. We have three kids and one grandchild, and it's a lot of fun. So I hear big news is coming down the pipe for.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yes, we already announced it on the Biz Life.
Oh, nice, excellent.
A few weeks ago, but going to be a granddad.
Oh yeah.
So congratulations to Landon and Callie.
Yes.
What I'd like to talk about, because some of you know, Nick and I are business partners in the martial arts world. We're also business partners in Fully Promoted and some other adventures that we've sort of got ourselves into. But one thing I want to highlight really was, you had said just now as well, you were 21 years old whenever you started your business. I know whenever I was 21 years old, I knew nothing about business, never had an inkling that would be something that I would want to go into. My parents pretty much worked and for the most part still working as an employee and not the employer. So what really you think drove your decision making at 21 years old that you wanted to be a business owner, that you wanted to own your own business? Because that's a pretty big adventure for a 21-year-old. I don't know many 21-year-olds that are that adventurous to jump out there and own your own business.
Oh man, that's a really good question to start with. Man, as far as like a lot of your upbringing, or at least a lot of my upbringing, had a lot to do with my decision to jump into that. I got the mentor underneath Scott Dolliff as I was coming up in the martial arts. I started off as a student there, and I kind of developed into main instructor and then a manager of the location. And at 17, for whatever reason, I had it built in my head. I knew this was going to be a path that I wanted to follow.
Really?
And at 17, you don't have any inkling of which direction that goes to or how that happens. And, getting to start with, I guess, someone mentoring you in business, it gives you a real big springboard to launch forward on.
Yeah.
So when I was 21, I was given the opportunity to start the first business, and I was kind of forced into the scenario of being able to do that, but it was either I go get a job at that point or I open my own business, and I chose to open my own business. And
so you had been in martial arts for, 9, 10 years old?
I started at 10, so
And,
I'm sorry. My memory, at 8. I got started at 8.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So you started training at 8, and then I know you had talked about, like, whenever you were a purple belt, then you started being part of the leadership within the academy and started teaching. And so that just morphed into like a part-time job type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had one job outside the martial arts. It was working at Cece's Pizza, and I found out really quick that that's not the life for me. I kept asking questions to the managers at Cece's Pizza. I was like, man, how do you make more money in this? They said, well, you just keep showing up, keep working hard, and we may give you a raise. And I got my first raise of 25 cents. I was like, okay, this isn't the path. So I was even going to college during as soon as I graduated high school. I was going to college for graphic art and computer science stuff, and I took an internship for a company that was doing a lot of the stuff for the Titan back then, and I started doing. I did actually all the artwork on the Titan for all the stuff when that was released here in Texas.
Oh wow.
If you look on the fine print, you'll probably see my name etched on some image if you zoom in real close. But no, I was talking to one of the intern guys there, and they were like, well, you keep going to college for a few more years and keep working for us for free for a while. It's like, you might make this much a year. And I was like, I'm already making that as a martial arts school manager. I was like, and I was paying for most of my college. My parents helped too, but I had to come out of my own pocket for a lot of stuff for college. And I was like, oh man. It's like the math ain't mathin'. So
no kidding, right?
So it definitely encouraged me. Everything was pointing me to go say, hey, go do it yourself. Go find your own way in this. And I felt pretty confident with the experience that I had with my instructor and the business systems that I learned, and that I was responsible for running all those for so long. I mean, I was pretty much the manager of that school from 17 to 21. And so I got about 4 years of experience behind me before we ever even jumped into the first TXBBA out there.
So those watching, what we're going to do today is we're sort of going to take you on a path from whenever Nick started Texas Black Belt Academy to where it's at today, and just give you some great tools in marketing, things that have really helped the brand grow. So it really doesn't matter. That's what I love about business. It doesn't matter if you're selling tires, chickens, or martial arts, right? It's selling, and marketing is marketing. The different paths that you take with it can all be the same. Message may be different, products different, things like that. So it doesn't really matter what industry you work in. You should get some value out of today. So thanks for watching. So let's dive in. What do you think you could share on the initial marketing strategies that you had, right? Because again, 20 years ago, right? Marketing is, the principles in marketing are the same, except the paths are different, right? So what are some strategies that you had back then in the early days, let's say?
Well, back when we opened the first location, obviously the market was extremely different than it is in today's terms.
How so, do you think?
Well, let's see. We're 20 years old at TXBBA right now. So 20 years ago, the online presence of things were drastically different. I mean, we still had the dial-up modems, I think, back then.
I hated that sound. It's like, bro, really?
Oh, man. So I mean, things were definitely not on the as deep in technology as they are today.
Correct. Yeah, I agree.
Everything was definitely more person to person, where now things are less connected person to person. Even though most people are still people to people businesses, and that's where relationships are built off of. But when it came back to going into marketing, then we were on an extremely limited budget. Getting the first location started, I mean, I had to get told no 20 plus times from almost every bank imaginable in Texas before I ever found any yeses. So,
and you're just talking about getting the loan to start the business.
Just getting the money to start the business is a process, and you cannot be afraid to get told no in business. Don't get your feelings hurt. Just keep pushing until you find the answer. So, so we got told no a bunch. I got just enough money. And when I calculated it, it was just enough money to get it to open. I was like, oh, perfect. I can do this. Yeah. Well, the problem is it's just enough money to get it open. And there is no, this is a problem when you open business at 21. Lots of experience things that are still missing. So, but it definitely puts a urge to make business happen. I mean, when you have $1,000 to cover your house, your car, your rent payment on your building, and marketing, and you got to make something happen, because $1,000 isn't going to touch nothing.
Right.
So, one of the first strategies that we started off with was person-to-person marketing.
Okay.
It was one of the strongest things that we did, and that was just simply going up and talking to people. And again, if you're already not afraid of no, well, great, you'll talk to everybody that you can, especially because if you don't talk to enough people, you're not open next month. So,
right.
Our first month of business, we went person-to-person for our marketing. We also did some business-to-business marketing a little bit with some flyers and stands and stuff like that. And our first month open with pretty much nonstop hustling during that first month. I think I was doing about 80, 90-hour weeks during that because, I had to.
Right.
We had 50 students our first month open.
Wow.
It was fast. It was furious. And it's what had to be done. So, and when your back's against the wall, I mean, you'll figure it out if you're really determined on not to fail, and you'll get it. So
you think any of your martial arts training sets you up for that mindset? Because there's a lot of people I've talked to, right, and man, their back's up against the wall, they'll just fold.
Yes,
right.
I firmly believe the martial arts training has a lot to do with that.
Yeah,
when you look at most of the most successful CEOs and companies and stuff, and even politicians and everything else, some of the top people in the world, one of the most common factors to a lot of those people is most of them have gotten a black belt in some discipline of martial arts, to where, I mean, it might be Taekwondo, it might be karate, whatever. I don't think that's the thing, but the biggest thing is people have gotten to their black belt.
Yeah.
That mindset, that determination of not stopping and not quitting is a big factor, I think, in being a successful business person as well.
Yeah.
So going back off of the black belt mindset, the don't quit attitude, when you get the opportunity to have your back against the wall, it's that push, that drive. Most people, when they got that pressure put on them, it's either the fight or flight, and I'd say about 80% of the people are going to flight. They're going to fold. So changing your mindset, getting that determination, that's probably step number one. Don't be afraid of a no, and man, don't fold. Get your gloves on and get ready to fight. So
I agree. For sure. I've been in the martial arts now for several years, training with you. For those that don't know, Nick was my first instructor and still is my instructor. And I've definitely learned a lot about what I could go through during the jiu-jitsu training and the martial arts training, right? And so whenever you get into a real life situation where, it doesn't have to be a self-defense situation, right, to be stretched. It could be relationship-wise. It could be, business, something like that. Life is going to stretch you at some point, right? And to have that black belt mindset of, whatever is going to happen, I'm going to win, and we're going to find a way, right? Adapt and overcome.
Absolutely.
So speaking of adapting, right, over the last 20 years, marketing techniques have definitely changed and evolved significantly. How would you adapt the marketing approach, or how have you adapted your marketing approach to keep up with the changes, especially when it comes to the digital and social media marketing?
Yes, that's a great transition off of what we used to do back 20 years ago. Like I said, shaking hands person to person, it's still pliable to some extent today. It's just the culture of getting into someone's space has been a little bit more defensive nowadays, where people aren't as apt just to come up and talk to you anymore. While that might be a boomer or Gen X more mentality,
right?
Millennials are kind of like a step off of that, and then you go to Gen Zers and stuff like that, and it's even further away. So the person-to-person connection is just a little bit harder to connect to. I'm not saying that there's not people out there that you can still connect person to person on, just a little bit less likely. There's definitely more of a social media presence, especially with the younger groups. We've been definitely reaching harder into reaching them on a social platform because they spend a lot more time there. And just really trying to grasp more attention off of where people are spending their attention. It used to be back on Gen Xers, everybody would come hang out. You'd find all the kids' bikes in the yard, and that was networking. So
true story. You knew exactly where your kids were because you go down the street and all the bikes are at this one house.
Now
they're in front of the screen at home.
Yep.
Still playing with each other. It's still that just connected differently.
Yeah, the connection's a little different. So more people are apt to see what someone's doing on Instagram. They went live on Instagram, and they're like, "Oh, what are they doing?" And then they get people viewing and watching, and that's their connection. So so it's a little bit different. So definitely a more social media aspect is part of it. The Instagram, the TikTok, the Facebook, even with the right groups in Facebook, that's something as well. It's definitely a change on the social side, and it's just the platform can reach more people. You just have to inspire them to definitely get the right content in front of them.
That's right, and I'm glad you said that. Definitely, I think the content makes such a big difference, right? And especially the more people are, consuming social media and consuming that, right? Their expectation level is changing, right? Quality. The quality of message, what you're putting out there, I think it really makes a difference. I always say content is king.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about some of the most effective campaigns, right, that we've ran. So could you describe one of the most effective campaigns in marketing that you have seen successful, and what do you think made it so successful?
So one of the most effective marketing campaigns is obviously our digital online presence on social media platforms.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest tools, I think, that is the reason for that success is automation. On automation, that one, I don't know if any other business owner has just truly an abundance of time, but hasn't been the case for us so much. Yeah. But using automation is an amazing tool to save time, still give great client interaction, and then still give a good call to action to be able to automate to what your sales objective is.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about like email marketing.
Right.
So for those watching, for the martial arts, one thing that we'd really dialed into probably, 8-10 years ago was our email marketing and trying to automate that interaction. A lot of people have heard like ClickFunnels and the funnel of moving the, potential customer client into a drip system or into something, right? And so a couple tips and tricks that I'd like to talk about is with email marketing. A lot of people think, okay, I'm just going to come up with an email. Maybe, especially in the last year, we have a great tool. If you're not using this tool, you should use this tool. But it's ChatGPT.
Oh, yes.
Right. And especially if you can get like the 4.0, the paid version of that, it really makes a big difference. But that's a great tool whenever you're coming up with some content in your email strategy. But again, using that 100%, it'll get close, but you do need to massage it and really put your take on it, your voice in there. But the cool thing about that is the more you use it, the more it picks up on those things. So it gets better and better as you use that.
Speaking of the AI thing, I have an idea to this, and I know people pick up on stuff, and I've seen it happen in the past, and it's going to be a matter of time to where if you edit, copy, edit, paste AI scripts, eventually people are going to sense it. It's like automation even. A lot of people sense automation.
Sure.
And there becomes a disconnect even on some automation stuff. So absolutely highly recommend editing and massaging to your own personal touch on AI. AI is a great tool to help you, but try not to edit, copy, edit, paste if you can. That's just my 2 cents.
No, it's exactly right. And so then there becomes this art in how can we automate without it feeling so automated, right?
Yeah.
The worst thing that the thing that I hate is whenever you have some kind of tech support you need to call, or something about a bill, right? And you know where I'm going with this.
Yes.
You call the number and you get AI.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And it's like, say with your regular voice what you're needing, and you say it, and it's like, do you mean this? And I'm like, no, I said this, right? And it's frustrating. It's, no one likes to talk to a computer. Everybody wants to talk to someone, right? So how do we automate without feeling automated?
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so I think ChatGPT is a great kickoff because it just helps you get your ideas on paper or on the computer a little bit quicker. But yeah, making that where it sounds like your culture,
right,
is super important. Another trick, though, for those that do email marketing, is how can I get people to open up my emails?
Oh man, that always starts with your subject line.
Right.
This is a baseline deal.
Yep.
One of the biggest things that I really like is a lot of softwares that have the option to be able to run test emails on your subject lines.
Yep.
Anytime that you're using test email subject lines, you're gonna, if you run an equal test to those, you'll find one of them that's just a home run.
Yeah, it outperforms.
Oh
right.
man, and if you want to have a good open rate, I think was it the national average on open rate on emails for a good campaign is supposed to be like 20%.
Think so.
And I think your click through rate on those, if you have an objective on there, is somewhere between 2 to 3%.
Yeah. On
an email campaign, and if you have a good header. I mean, we've seen email campaigns run in the 40s, 40% on good email campaigns. And we definitely like those, but that all comes and starts with a good header.
Yeah. Yeah. So the subject line, right? How do we craft that subject line? Well, here's a little trick. You can go into ChatGPT, right? You put your email in there and you say, okay, give me 10 subject lines that would fit this email. Boom, gives you 10. And you're like, you know what? I like 2, 3, and 5. So keep 2, 3, and 5, but give me 7 more. Boom, it'll give them to you.
Oh, yeah.
So you look at that and you're like, okay, well, how do I pick? I'm going to give you a trick here. This is something I haven't shared yet, but you can go to subjectline.com, and it's a free service. You go in there, you choose subjectline.com, and you can put your subject line in there, and it'll rate it for you how likely that subject is to open. Okay, and so the person I heard this from, their company will only use the score of 90 and above. So if they put a subject line and it's below 90, they scrap it. They won't use it. It has to be 90 or above, so 90% chance of it being opened. So, of course, used that, ran some tests, threw one out there that I had made up, threw one out there that ChatGPT made up that I liked. I ran both of them in the score in that subjectline.com. The one that I made up was like 96. The one that ChatGPT was 100.
Ooh.
Yeah. Just put them both in there, and sure enough, the one that scored 100 got a lot better.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, because really you can have a great message, but if, they always say don't judge a book by its cover. I don't really agree with that because the cover is going to want to make you open the book. You get a crappy cover and you're like, meh, it doesn't really interest me. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, just using that to, score your subject line, I think is such a huge benefit.
Ready to boost your business's impact? Fully Promoted Fort Worth is your one-stop destination for branding needs, specializing in branded apparel and promotional products. They help attract, retain, and engage customers. From custom uniforms to eye-catching items, Fully Promoted Fort Worth has you covered. Contact them today to unlock your brand's potential. 817-803-4404. Fully Promoted, your success, their passion.
Looking to elevate your office meetings, client gifting, or corporate parties? Check out Gray's Craze, your one-stop destination for delightful catering options. Imagine impressing your colleagues and clients with our large charcuterie board, carefully curated with the finest artisanal cheeses, premium meats, and an array of accompaniments. And when it comes to client gifting, nothing says thank you quite like a luxurious selection of gourmet treats designed to meet your every need. Gray's Craze, catering that leaves a lasting impression.
Oh, man, that's huge. If you're not getting opens, you definitely aren't getting clicks. And if you've paid money for email acquisitions or if you've paid money for marketing for these email acquisitions, you want it to be as efficient as possible.
Yeah.
And having a great opener makes a pretty big difference in those.
Yeah. So I've been told, and from again, this lady I was listening to with her company, a huge mega company up in New York, and she claims that email marketing is $47 to $1 rate on return.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty darn good. $47 to $1 spent.
Yeah, 47x, man.
That's
how many dollars can I put out? So.
Right, and I think really where that comes from is the email marketing service is super cheap.
Oh yeah.
Super cheap. The hardest part in the email marketing portion is really to collect the lead data, right? That's going to cost you more than anything. The actual service is cheap. It just blows me away that the amount of businesses operate and they don't ever ask for emails at all.
I can't figure that out.
Yeah.
So
I do business with a lot of businesses, and majority, they don't have any kind of system at all to collect emails.
I don't really care which industry you're in. I don't know if it's food, construction,
Doesn't matter.
T-shirts. Yes, grab their email, collect the info of your customers. It is invaluable to you.
Yeah. If you have a business and you have, let's say we have two businesses, they're identical. They make, let's say, $100,000 in profit in the year, and one business has 50 emails collected, almost nothing. The other one has like 100,000 emails collected, right? That's value.
Oh, yes.
There's a huge amount of value in your database.
Oh, absolutely.
And, I preach and preach and preach saying collect data as much as you can, however you can.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Man, I'm a firm believer of that.
Yeah. And obviously we do, and especially in the martial arts, right? Because, our opt-ins on our website or opt-ins on our email marketing is always about, collecting data, name, email, phone number, but even whenever you're, let's say you're out person to person, right? You meet that contact and you're like, wow, this guy is a perfect client for mine. And you give them your contact and you never get their contact.
Oh, man.
And you're like, call me.
Yeah, please. No way. Yeah.
You gotta
ask for all the info.
Yeah.
And I see this even in some of the older businesses and some of the old school guys that do business. They just get a name and phone number. And that's not bad. Good for you for getting the info. I mean, that's important. But man, if you can capture an email lead and then again, elevate your automation, you're going to make your life a lot easier on your sales.
Yeah.
So,
and so for those watching, let's say, you're interested in email marketing. You've thrown out a couple emails. You're not really sure about what this automation is. So here's a strategy I'm going to give you. Okay. So let's say that you test your emails, you're using subjectline.com for your subject line to see which one works. And you have one that just hits a home run. Right? You have great open rate. You have great click rate. You may even sell some stuff off that email. Man, notate that one and say, okay, here is my number one email. I'm going to start here. And you put it into an automation. And then you throw some more and you hit another one. Okay, put that in automation 7 days later or 2 weeks later, whatever kind of cycle you want. And then over a year, you should have about, maybe 12, 24 emails that are built into this automation. And that's in a year's time. Year's time is going to happen regardless. So if you're not building this automation as you go, you should be. And then a couple years later, you have a whole year worth of emails.
oh yeah.
Right? You have a whole year worth of automation. Maybe throw some text in there, whatever you want to do on your automation. But after a year, maybe 2 years, you're done with that.
Right.
And then that's just a rinse and repeat. Every single person that comes in, they get that very first email that did really good.
Oh yeah.
And then every once in a while, you may go back and look at your automation and say, you know what, email number 6 isn't doing as hot as the other ones. I'm going to change that.
Yes.
And you just keep massaging it where, if you've been in business 3 to 4 years, and if you don't have a good email automated campaign that runs a good year, you did something wrong, but hey, it's no big deal. You can start fresh today.
Yeah, yeah. So. That's the beauty. If you're making the effort to even just send out the emails, congratulations. You've probably beat out most of your business anyways.
Yep.
Most people don't even bother with email campaigns. And I can't figure that out either.
Right.
We look at even at some of the old school martial arts academies that are around. They don't want anything to do with it. They'll pay someone to handle all of it, and you can pay for the outside services, and you'll get something out of it.
Yeah.
But it'll never be the same as if you were putting your own content in there. It's not you. It's not your brand. It's not your business. So, going off of the subject line, that's going to help your open rate. If you want to talk about even on conversions, that comes from your content. even your content on the inside there, you can have call to objection,
call to actions.
call to actions, so CTAs. But your CTAs in there, but your content's what's going to sell that call to action. So again, don't copy, edit, paste your chat GTP and emails. So
and that's, if you're, again, let's say, we'll just stay on the email marketing maybe for this episode, right? If you're wanting to build, what content do I put out?
Right.
Man, you could easily say, hey, look, I'm a painting company. This is what we do. And I want you to act like a professional email, marketer and give me 12 months of subjects. I want to send an email once a week or twice a week. Boom. There it is.
It'll create something for you. Yeah.
It's insane how quick, it could do something like that. But again, it's not going to be perfect. It may give you some kind of subject. It's like, I don't even do that, whatever, right? But it'll get you at least started.
Yes.
Right.
That's
at least started.
The most important thing is take action.
Yeah.
Take action. And I think a lot of business owners, when they get out there and they go into this digital world, they hope they pop open the building. They hope they put themselves on Google and they hope people show up.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's not the way it works. You have to be out there. You have to be putting effort into digital marketing. Right. You have to be putting out content. You have to be building a sales funnel of some sort, even through your email marketing.
Yeah.
And taking action is the number one way to get that moving.
So. Yeah. Speaking of, lead collection, data collection. So whenever we opened up Gray's Craze, they typically will do like a, free board giveaway for the month or whatever. Mm-hmm. You run ads, you put it out on Facebook or whatever. And again, lead collection. So 2 months into it, I had called our marketing company that handles that and said, hey, how am I doing on the lead collection, right? I'd like to know how many I have. And they were like, we've never seen anybody collect as many leads as you have. What are you doing, right? I'm not going to share you everything that I was doing, but we collected over 500 leads within, I think it was 60 days of being open. Right. So there's things that you can do to collect leads, right? If it's a product giveaway, a service giveaway, evaluation giveaway, something, right? And we're going to give this away this month. All you got to do is name, email, phone number.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And then random draw, boom, you're the winner. Great. And then everybody else goes into a funnel and gives them value information. Right. And I think really, you spoke about content and customer engagement. I really think when it comes to like email marketing and really a lot of marketing, people have been marketed almost to death, right? If you're on your Facebook scroll, it's like every other one's an ad, or Instagram, every one of others, is an ad and stuff. But when it comes to value, right, I think it's really where it's going to speak to the customer,
right?
As long as your value up front with them, and hitting that touch point where they're at.
Right.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
I think, it's like some people are afraid to give away too much, even on promo stuff.
Yeah.
Can't have that mindset though. I mean, it's like if I can, in martial arts even, it's like if we can give away something that's extremely valuable, what's that really worth? As far as, is it worth 10 people coming in? Is it worth 50? Is it worth 500? I mean, it's like, what's the end game of it, and how many people can you pull? You can't be afraid to give away something $50 or $100 or $150 even. Right. I mean, shoot, I think our biggest giveaway was $800 something.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. And did it produce leads? Absolutely.
Yeah,
so
sure did.
Can't be afraid to give away big, and at worst you help somebody out and who's in need. So,
and here's the cool thing too, right? Some people think, okay, well, I either don't want to give away my service or something that I do. You don't have to give away your service. You can give them away something else, right?
Right. Yeah.
Say, hey, I'm going to give you a spa package with this, and this, right? It has nothing to do with my business, but this is what we're going to give. We cross promote with those businesses. Right. A lot of times they'll give them to you for free.
Oh yeah.
If you cross promote, right? It's like, let's just say spa package. I don't know why that came into my mind. Maybe I need a spa day. Okay. So sell, if you're listening, spa day coming soon, right? But you go to that company and say, hey, look, I want to do a cross promotion with you. Are you willing to give me XYZ? I'm going to, cross promote it on my platform, give you all business and exposure. A lot of times they'll do it for free. They're like, oh yeah, here's an XYZ 30-day membership, whatever.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, but if you look at this back in even 20 years ago, the form that was done in this is, hey, I'm going to leave some flyers here, and I'll take some of yours and put them up in our business.
Right.
Only difference has changed now is you have a digital platform in order to do that.
Correct.
And you could be advertising their product as a giveaway, and man, who doesn't want free exposure? So,
right. Yeah. Just some tips and tricks. Hopefully you're picking up some things, taking some notes today. Okay. Last thing, let's see. What tactics have you found most effective for building and maintaining strong relationships with the customers through your email or through your marketing efforts?
Well, I'm going to say email marketing as well. But
Yeah, for sure.
Again, even automation for existing customers. I think that's missed a lot. Everybody's always hunting for the new fish. And granted, you need that. You got to keep new blood coming into your business. But even remarketing the existing business customers that you have and keep them as repeat customers is very important.
Yeah.
And again, that's not just in the martial arts business. I mean, we obviously want them there till black belt and beyond, but
sure.
When it comes to even outside businesses, I mean, almost every business is not a one-time buy. I don't know of any car dealership that says, hey, just buy this one car from us and we'll never see you again.
Well, maybe tombstones.
Oh, well, again, that's a one-time business.
Anything that has to do with the funeral home, you're probably not going to buy it twice.
No, not usually. But,
Other than that, I think you're right.
Yeah. So the remarketing to existing clientele, because most people don't ever stop being a customer due to your customer experience you have, unless it's just horrible.
Right.
But usually it's because there's a disconnect.
Yeah.
And it's not while they're in your business they'll stop buying from you. It's when they're outside their business, they'll get distracted and go down some other road and oh, hey, look at this product. Oh, that's exciting. And then you just get forgot about.
Yeah.
So and that happens more than not.
Yeah.
So,
and I always say, I like the saying, the one who markets the most wins. And that's usually the way it happens, right? You could be, I could be one of your customers, but someone else is out marketing you. And it's a shiny new penny or whatever, and it gets me distracted. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to start going over here to XYZ. Or whatever, right? So, well, we're getting late in the podcast. So it's a couple, typically at the end, I like to do a couple things. So those that are watching are typically either new in business or they've been in business for quite some time, 20 years plus like you. So if you think back right into your early days, what advice would you give to the new entrepreneur, the new business owner?
Oh man, new guys, I would highly recommend don't be offended by no. Try to get as many no's as possible so you can find the yeses. For the new guys, that's probably number one. For existing guys that have been in business for a long time, pivot, adapt, change. Man, technology is moving at such an accelerated rate, you got to adjust with it. Those who love to dig their heels in and set in their ways, pivot.
Yeah. Yeah. So on the, we were talking earlier over coffee that the no's will lead to the yeses.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is, number one, if you're getting told no a lot, well, it may just be that you suck. Right. And you're going to get better. So just keep going.
Yep.
You will get better. And focus on your weaknesses. Right. If you have a hard time speaking, then read some books about that. Right. If you have a hard time with adapting and, on objections and overcoming objections, well, there's books on that.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, focus on your weaknesses. And then I love that you had said adapt and overcome for, existing businesses and things like that. 'Cause we've seen many businesses come in and out, right? You look at Yahoo. At one time, Yahoo was like the king.
Yes. Yeah.
Most people don't even know what Yahoo is anymore.
What was it? Google now owns 92%?
88%.
88% of all search optimizations right now, right?
Yeah.
So, and if you started off with Google at Yahoo's level, and Yahoo, Texas to the court. All right. So, but you have Yahoo and you have Google.
Yeah.
And why didn't Yahoo stay with Google.
Right.
So,
Yep.
didn't pivot.
Yep.
So
Same with Xerox, right?
Oh yeah.
Xerox was one of those businesses that, man, they came out strong and they didn't adapt and they went out of business.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, I think that's important. All right. Well, last question. What is the worst thing that you've ever done?
I have a public appearance, sir. I can't disclose that. No, so.
That you're willing to share. I mean, really,
goodness.
the only ones watching is going to be Shelly, your wife, or Selena, my wife.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Not many people make it to this end. If you're still watching, okay, number one, you've gotten value out of the podcast, and hope you enjoyed that. Please let me know if you like this format. I sort of changed it up today. Not only did I change sides, but I also changed the format up just a little bit. So please comment below or reach out to me and let me know what you thought of this particular episode.
I'm really curious if anybody is actively using email marketing. I would comment below and tell your experience about your email marketing as well. I would love to see that myself.
Yeah, and if you suck at it, that's all right. Say, hey, I'm not very good at it. I'll reach back out and I'll give you some extra pro tips.
Nice.
Yeah, free of charge.
Oh, that's all right.
But you got to comment. That's the only way I'll do it. If you comment on our YouTube channel.
Awesome.
So some people are listening by Apple, Spotify, and all the other platforms, but it has to be on the YouTube channel. So
Yes, sir.
all right, worst thing.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, where to begin? Oh man. I don't have a really good answer off of this. It's like I got a list that's so long. No, I would. Oh, okay. I got one. One of my first jiu-jitsu tournaments. I was waiting for Master Wall to come be my corner, and under this one, it was during the Winter Wars tournament, and I grabbed a guy by the sleeve and the collar, and I was trying to do a collar pull down.
Yep.
I popped the dude's shoulder out of socket.
Oh no!
Yeah, I was just like, I landed on the guy after I pulled him down. He was like, "Get off!" And I was like, "What did I do?" He goes, "My shoulder." I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
No!
Yeah, that was probably one of those "I'm so sorry" moments.
Yeah.
I feel horrible about that even to this day. So
Dang. I guess you won the match. He forfeited.
yeah, that was not the way I want to win. So,
No,
but it
happens.
Yeah, that's all good though.
All right. Well, thanks for being on here, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, had a lot of fun.
Yes, sir.
All right. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share out. It really helps the algorithm and all those things that they tell us to do. So thank you a lot. We'll see you next time on the Biz Life.